Brekdak versus Gun. A very interesting debate that has been taking place in the Lookism community, and that I predict will skyrocket in popularity as Chapter 459 ages with time. You know, although I'm not very proud to say it, but Brekdak versus Gun never really seemed like a real debate to me. I always thought Gun was absolute margins ahead of Brekdak's level. Maybe this was because of the fact that we haven't seen much of him fight yet. Or it could have also been because maybe back then Vasco never really showed any feats that could give off any hints that, Brekdak is anywhere near Gun level. But I'll admit now that it was very ignoramus of me to discard Brekdak's potential. So let's get on with the debate. To begin with, we have to take a look at Brekdak's CV. So I don't have a vivid memory of this as it's been a while since I've read the first 200 chapters of Lookism, but I'm pretty sure Brekdak was first shown as a colleague to Vasco. They were working together and they became friends, and eventually Brekdak took Vasco as a student. He was also shown again in the Sonag Goes to Seoul arc, where he was thought to be a thief, but it was a whole misunderstanding, and honestly, this arc won't be mentioned too much as he didn't do anything worthy to be in this debate, but it was pretty cool to see the friendship between Vasco and Brekdak. Funny enough, and this was actually one of my favorite moments of the God Dog arc, and of the whole of Lookism as well, but Brekdak was also shown in this arc when he literally met face to face with Gun. And it's not like this was some normal meeting too. They were about to clash heads if Gun didn't calm go down that soon and asked Brekdak for an autograph. I think the author tried to do something here where he expected the Lookism fanbase to act just like the One Piece fanbase, where anything that remotely hints at literally anything else, they will just take as foreshadowing. So he showed a panel of Gun and Brekdak face to face and a double panel or whatever it's called, as if they both knew this would end up being an ongoing debate someday in the future. Now enough useless talk about that, let's actually state some feats on Brekdak's side. So Brekdak hasn't been shown fighting that much in the series. All we know of his fighting prowess is that his professional record was 129-0, and he also had one loss against some guy named Samdak, I think, that unfortunately we know nothing about, and I wish we could because that guy has the same ability as Johan and Daniel, where he can copy any attack he sees perfectly. So far he's the only character to ever beat Brekdak. Brekdak's fighting consists of a bunch of Muay Thai techniques, as he is a Muay Thai master. Here's a fun fact about Brekdak that I guarantee almost none of you have ever heard before. Brekdak's forbidden techniques, which are the main moves he uses while fighting, or at least that was implied, are actually not Muay Thai moves. I know you might think I'm crazy for saying this, but hear me out. Brekdak's forbidden techniques consist of a lot of moves that, as the name suggests, are actually forbidden in Muay Thai, such as grabbing his opponent or maybe even throwing them into the sky like Vasco did with Eli. So why do people call Brekdak a Muay Thai master? Well, disregarding the fact that he actually is one, considering his professional record, most of Brekdak's forbidden techniques actually come from a martial art called Muay Boran, I think.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Which is a martial art that people used to use way back in the day and has much deadlier moves than the modern day Muay Thai. Muay Boran is actually considered an ancestor in Muay Thai, so that's a fun fact for you. So if we consider the fact that Vasco rarely attacks without using one of Brekdak's forbidden techniques, and that most of the time when he doesn't, the moves he makes are illegal in Muay Thai, does that mean that we can safely call Vasco a Muay Boran fighter instead of a Muay Thai fighter? Let me know in the comments. Brekdak is obviously a master of all of the forbidden techniques he taught Vasco. So yeah, that's set. One last thing I would like to say about him, in chapter 459 it was pretty clearly implied that Brekdak can leave and enter the state of runner's high at his own demand, which is kind of crazy to me. How is that even physically possible? Anyway, now for Gun. So Gun is a member of the 1.5th generation, stated by the author himself. This is just a group of fighters who came before the second generation, but after the first generation. Gun is the type of guy that if you're committing any sort of illegal act, he will immediately spawn in, beat your ass, steal your girlfriend, and beat her ass too. Gun is the same guy who made the 4 major coups for, not with, but for Charles Choi, with Jungo. He takes the leaders of the 4 major coups as candidates to be the next Gun, but then he catches them doing something illegal and he off-screens them as if the 4 major coups are nothing really major to him at all. My G went up against Ultra Instinct Daniel, probably the strongest being in the verse, and put up a pretty good fight before he was saved by plot armor. I mean, when bro was 16, he beat the entirety of the Black Bear gang with just go. He also trained Eli, trained Ollie, and trained Daniel himself in his first body. He turned him into an absolute machine capable of fighting first gen kings on the same level. The strongest one, in fact. I mean, this dude rolled up, soloed the workers, and left like there was no debate in the first place. I've never seen a pair of pants being dropped faster than Eugene's when Gunn rolled up. I think that's enough about both of them. Now what if they fought? Well, to put it simply, after all the punching, kicking, throwing, and fanboying that would occur, it would all come down to one thing in my opinion. I think this would end up very similar to the gun and go fight, all depending on their ability to fight other people, and who did better against the same type of opponent. So we are aware that Gunn has had many experiences with people who possess the copy ability, such as Johan, Daniel Park, and Daniel Park. As for Johan, we don't need to mention that guy, bruh. I also already mentioned what he did to second body Daniel and how their fight ended up going. And for first body Daniel, well, he's kind of his coach, so there's not much more to it. On the other hand, when Brekdak went up against a person with the copy ability, Samdak, and I know we have no clue of that dude's strength yet, but you get the point, Brekdak actually struggled. He lost, in fact. Now I don't remember if this was mentioned to be in his prime or not, but regardless, to not prolong this video any further, Brekdak may be a very good Muay Thai and Muay Boran master, the best in his verse actually, but Gunn, well there's not much more to it than, he's Gunn.